So Captain America's been a Hydra agent for the last 75 years. Fuck you, Nick Spencer. So, if you don't know, the new Captain America just came out with Steve Rogers back behind the shield, and it's written by Nick Spencer, and this is the same guy who wrote Fear Itself. It's the same guy who gave us the Sam Wilson Captain Americas. It's the same guy who gave us the shitty Wade fucking Daredevil comics, where they turned him into some really fucking pretentious hipster. And it's garbage. It is absolute garbage. I just finished reading the first issue, and it is total crap. I can't believe that he has taken a character that has traditionally been a uniter of political stances. So Steve Rogers has always represented America at its best. He's always tried to bring people together. That's what the allure of Steve Rogers has always been. He brought people together. He was originally introduced as a piece of propaganda for World War II. Again, something very easy for people to get behind. What Nick Spencer has done is said, that's wrong, I'm a progressive, and that means anything that Steve Rogers represented was in the service of evil. I'm not making this up. This is real. He actually has made him into a deep cover Hydra agent this whole time. Yep. This whole time. He's been totally pro Hydra. This isn't, I mean, could we see some Marvel shenanigans where it's like, oh, he's being made to do this, blah, 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 there's a secret device in the back of his head, and it's telling him that he's actually saying this stuff against his will. This could very well be the case. But right now, the way Nick Spencer's presenting it, this is just the fucking truth. So, right now, I'm reading the interview that he did for the Daily Beast, and there are just some things in here that I am just absolutely incensed by. I'll put a link in the description below. You can go read it yourself. But, oh my god. He's answering some questions here saying, was there ever any resistance from Marvel to this idea? And he goes on to talk about, well, we do these creative retreats where we have discussions about this, and the last two that I was at, where this was a major point of discussion. I was really expecting to have to fight for this story, but actually there was very little pushback. You know what? That doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me one goddamn bit, because the new modern Marvel comics have just been a cesspool of social justice bullshit for the last 5 to 6 years. The most pandering leftist propaganda I've ever read. And it's not even a galvanizing thing. All it's doing is just wanking off the social justice types. Just be like, oh my god, fucking, we should make Thor a chick. We should give him boobs. That'll piss off the white male misogynerds, won't it? Oh, you know what else we should do? We should make Spider-Man a chick. You know what? I bet Gwen Stacy would fucking love to be Spider-Woman, or a Spider-Woman, so we'll make that a thing. Why don't we make Spider-Man black? It's just, okay, I'm fine with all of that being what-if scenarios, but these people go out of their way to tell you that's how it should have been all along. You know, I wish it would just stay that way. It would be better that way. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. Peter Parker is a specific character. Steve Rogers is a specific character. Sam Wilson's run as Captain America, it was so hit or miss. It had its points where I was interested, and it had its other points because it was written by Nick fucking Spencer, where it's just this hardcore dick-sucking of the left. I mean, he encounters terrorists at one point, and they have this big back and forth about, like, well, I believe that I'm a vigilante because it's the right way to be a vigilante, and you guys are being vigilantes just because you're bad guys. And that was I'm not shitting you, that was the depth that Sam Wilson processed that argument. And again, I'm sure Nick Spencer just thinks he's the smartest goddamn person alive when he writes this shit. A few points of facts: Nick Spencer actually has a just huge political, a huge political agenda when he writes his work. Just read any of it. I promise, it's as transparent as the fucking sun. It is right there. He originally ran for office for a council of some progressive party in Cincinnati. Again, I always say progressives in air quotes because that's just a nice way of saying we're better than you. Then he also backed a Democratic politician and stuff, which is fine. I don't care if you have your politics. That's totally fine. You can be a person and have your political leanings. But when he caricaturizes the right the way he does, all he does is do exactly what hard leftists have always done and what hard people on the right have always done. Make straw man out of the other side. All it does is divide. It doesn't help arguments. It doesn't help anybody. All it does is make people hate each other. You know, I have a straw man talking point about you. Well, I have a strong point or a straw man talking point about you, and we're going to throw that at each other, and we're going to see who in the media likes us the most. Hint, the left is usually going to win that race. So, this is just, none of this surprises me. You're shitting on a 75-year legacy with this. I can't believe what they've done to Steve Rogers. I can't believe Marvel signed off on this. I can't believe Nick fucking Spencer, of all people, got the goddamn writing gig for this. I am shocked. And he's saying, oh, that's a good thing. We knew putting something like this out was going to be perceived as a bad thing, but it's great. People are talking about it. This is exactly the kind of response I expected. Fuck you, man. This isn't something to be proud of. You've turned Red Skull into a caricature of Donald Trump because you're looking at it as a blank slate, and we need to rethink Hydra. Maybe, what if we put it in the zeitgeist lens of today with, Donald Trump? Look what he's doing. Doesn't this sound like something Red Skull would do? That's the kind of thing that they're pulling, and it's so painfully transparent. It's not even clever. Like, this is Alan Moore levels of I'm being witty. It's so disingenuous. It's self-flagellating. It's fucking garbage. Please don't read this crap. Don't. If you have to, goddammit, I regret this purchase so much. I went down to my local comic shop. I have a pull list of 3 titles right now. That's it. I have a pull list of exactly 3 titles. And they are all Star Wars. This was the first Marvel superhero comic that I've pulled in the last 2 years. That I've put on a pull list saying I was anticipating this. And I was, because it was Steve Rogers back in the gig, and with the success of the movies, I thought they were going to get more espionage-like, and much more of the recent Winter Soldier movies, which have just been absolutely great. I was really hopeful for that. Nope. Steve Rogers was a deep cover Hydra agent. Fuck you, nerds. Fuck all of you. Ha 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 ha. We're just gonna laugh as we make no money off of this, because the only people who were going to buy it were Captain America fans. What business sense does this make, Marvel? You have done this to every single one of your mainline comics for the last 5 to 6 years. You've just taken a big, massive donkey shit all over the continuity, the fan base, the people who give you their money from their paychecks. I set aside $15-20 every pay so I can pick up some comics. Thank God at least the Star Wars ones that I'm pulling aren't too pandering, though the Leia book was extremely go girls. I'm sure the new Han Solo comic book is going to be more yeah, Chewie, we're kind of dicks. We should probably give the women's more of a thumbs up than we do. Really just pandering garbage. Not to say those statements are wrong. Please don't be a mongoloid and misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's not in their character to behave that way. It's so dumb. It's so fucking stupid. I mean, they go on to say, there's a lot of uproar about how this storyline insults the legacies of Captain America's Jewish creators, Jack Kirby and Joe Simon. And he goes on to try to put this nicely in saying, but we're all just trying to add to that legacy, aren't we? Aren't we all just trying to put a new point in the story? Let's see, blah, blah, blah. It's always tough. The eternal divide is the reader wants the characters to succeed, to be happy, and to win. Yeah, most of the time. I don't buy comics to completely hate myself and feel depressed and stuff, but those moments make those characters great. That's good storytelling. We're not just talking about writing comics, we're talking about writing stories. But I think in his mind, he's writing a comic book. He's not writing a story, he's writing a comic. And to him, I think there's no difference, that there is a clear difference between the two, and that's just stupid. Our job is often to put the characters through things that can often be mistaken for a lack of respect or care for the character. That is not your job. You can do that with characters, but that's not your job. Your job is to make interesting stories, not to shit all over a fan base and say, lol, fuck you. To make some sort of meme out of Captain America, to caricaturize him the way you've done. And the same thing with the Red Skull. It's stupid. He was a literal Nazi. You don't have to make him worse. Again, it's the same kind of stupid leftist argument saying that Trump is literally Hitler. No, he's not. Hitler is literally Hitler. Get the fucking difference correct. He might be an asshole, but he's not Hitler. Don't be fucking stupid. Let's see, it's just the reality of what draws people into these stories, whether you realize it or not, and this is going to be a major test for a lot of characters in the Marvel Universe. A major test? You've completely neutered and remade a character people loved for the last 75 years. 3 times as long as I've been alive. I mean, that's just insane to me. The fucking lack of respect that you have for this character. Again, they go on to mention how Donald Trump is Red Skull is a caricature of Donald Trump's "Make America Great Again," blah blah blah. We wanted to get away from the green and yellow costumes and the doomsday machines and reconnect with what an organization has in its sort of moral code. So I really, really think that Red Skull would be on par with Donald Trump, or that Donald Trump would be on par with Red Skull, someone who has literally tried to destroy the planet before, someone who has literally tried to invade other dimensions, not to mention the fact that he was just a Nazi originally. I mean, come on. Donald Trump is nowhere fucking near that. He's a loudmouth with a bunch of fucking mouth breathers behind him. Who cares? It's nothing like the Red Skull. It's so dumb. I see a lot of these things as similar. If people see, if people see those things as similar, it's not my place to say. Laughs. Fuck you, Nick Spencer. That is exactly how I'm going to conclude this video. Fuck you. Fuck what you've done to this Captain America. I regret this purchase. I am pulling it off of my pull list, and I implore other people who had this on there to do the same. Do not support this kind of ridiculously lazy, pandering, biased bullshit any further. Marvel, fix the shit. Because, frankly, a lot of people are sick of it.